Radio Free Tatooine.
Radio Free Tatooine presents Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
Boshuda, fellow Holotable hustlers. You're tuned in to Radio Free Tatooine's Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, a.k.a. the other Sean, and sitting across the holotable from me is John, a.k.a. the uncanny Mr. H.
I'm eating noodles.
Yes, it's a noodle kind of night. You have noodles. I'm doing Skittles over here, so we're both just... This is a health podcast.
You know what, man? We're, 5.5, 6 months deep into this whole thing?
Yeah.
It's just... I mean, not that I was the pinnacle of health to begin with, but yeah. I just don't care.
Don't care.
I'm a half step away from eating large straight out of the container, I think.
I've never had this large of a bag of Skittles.
You won't for very long either, probably.
50 ounces? Oh, no, this is an empty bag now. I'm not proud of what I've done. But we're here to talk about ramen, Skittles, and Galaxy of Heroes. We have our second week of Galactic challenges that we're in now. The Death Star, and of course, who attacks the Death Star? None other than bounty hunters.
I mean, it makes perfect sense to me.
Sure. So we're playing around with that. We got some communication from CG, so we'll be talking about that later. But first, let's hop right into... Oh, and we've got a soapbox moment for John that you're not going to want to miss. But yeah, let's hop right into the events calendar for a look at upcoming in-game events, courtesy of swgohevents.com. For a list of past, present, and future events in Galaxy of Heroes, there's no better resource on the web than swgohevents.com. Now, kind of light week overall. We've got a training droid smuggling as we launch this. Yeah. A territory war starting, which is good. We're kind of getting back into the PvP side of things, which is... After Clone Parade, that's a welcome, a very welcome change. On the 21st, we have a territory war popping up. That is Territory War 135. And then General's Command on the 22nd. That is where you get your finalizer. Coruscant Omega Battle on the 23rd. The 24th has Contraband Cargo and... Grand Arena Season 10 starts up. I gotta really bring it this season.
Yeah, do we know if that's a 3v3 this season, or is it back to 5v5?
You know, I don't know. I imagine it's probably back to 5v5.
I don't recall seeing anything, but I
was getting to where I kind of liked 3v3. I know that's just very atypical for me, but I shouldn't necessarily say I was getting to like it. I was getting good at it. Which, kind of spills over into liking it.
Legitimately, it's funny. I don't like most things I'm bad at.
Yeah.
Except video games. I'm not good at any of them, so...
That's true. Yeah, I definitely enjoy plenty of video games that I'm terrible at. So, on the 25th, we've got a Rebel Roundup. Those are fun. Rounding up them Rebels. Yeehaw. Another Territory War, number 136 on that day as well. On the 26th, we will have Endurance and Malachor, Old Republic.
That's a new challenge?
A new Galactic challenge, yeah. On Malachor, and Old Republic, I believe, means you're fighting the Old Republic.
It requires rebels?
Does it really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, I was just going to look that up.
Piece that one together.
There's a link in our show notes. I guess
I just click it, and it took me right where you need. Courtesy of SWGOH events.
You use Rebels. I guess could be worse for me.
I mean, at least bounty hunters existed during the Death Star times, but
yeah, which actually segues right into some Galactic Challenge talk. Last week, how'd you do with the Galactic Challenge last week with the Sith?
Pretty terrible.
Yeah, you don't really have a Sith squad, right?
Shockingly, no. I actually really don't.
Yeah.
I have like 60% of an okay Sith squad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Completely on accident.
It was fun. I talked last week about maybe I'll relic my Palpatine just to get that last feat. And I did.
Did you get it?
Yeah. Which I thought was fun. For all the hate that these things get, and they're not perfect. I'm not gonna try to polish a turd here, but
is it a turd?
I don't think it's a turd. No, it smells a little funky though.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's a suspicious, lump on the ground, but we're not quite sure what it is yet. But something smells a little funky.
Yeah.
I think that it has so much potential.
Sure.
And the fact that it, as a mode, has the potential built into the very function of it. Right?
Yeah.
The idea being, this is just, we can put any set of parameters in here. Now, what they do with it is really where the rubber will hit the road, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Thus far,
not the best.
But right now, I think it really is just a matter of when we push this out to everybody, is it going to explode? Thus far, it has not.
It did. It definitely did not explode.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I haven't particularly enjoyed it, but it's also been focused on factions that I don't really have.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really done much with the Death Star one yet, since I have a leisurely week to take care of it.
Yeah, exactly. I found myself doing some of it on my lunch break, and I thought, I think yesterday, yeah, and I thought, why would I worry about this when there's like a territory battle going? Like literally anything else in the game takes priority over this.
Well, to be fair, it was the clone parade first off, and second off, because you enjoyed it
a little. This one, so my bounty hunters, for me, I've got some bounty hunters. They're not as good as my Sith. My Sith, were fairly well equipped to handle this. Bounty hunters a little less so, but from what I've been seeing, that doesn't matter. You're gonna beat it. If your bounty hunters are a little subpar, you don't need relics to beat.
But you do.
You do for the feats, but
right.
Actually, the difficulty of the content, not that hard. I don't think this is as hard as the last one, personally, but it's a little weird too. The kind of neutral mechanic of it, where you gain all this energy and then you can just essentially delete somebody. It's a little odd, I think, just in that it did make an interesting challenge to try and beat it without losing someone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did that, but you really have to bring it. Like you have to
that's the point,
kill
though,
him
is
quickly.
It something? It's a different way to play the same game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. I specifically noticed though that it's odd with bounty hunters. That so now you can just one hit kill somebody. Bounty hunters are like, we already do that.
I mean, depending on your bounty hunters,
a bit different, but it does what CG planned for it to do, I think, for me.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you something to do. Is it great? Is it the best thing in the world? Doesn't matter. It's something to do, right? And it encourages roster growth. So, like last week, like I said, I relicked up my Emperor Palpatine because it's a good character, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to regret this. I'll do it. And this week, I'm going to do the same. I'm almost positive. As soon as I finish a couple things I'm finishing up, I am very close to having a Gear 12 Jango Fett, which will be my 5th Gear 12 bounty hunter. So why wouldn't I? You know, just he's a great character that I like playing anyways. I'll do it, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a time where you're like, oh, yeah, you know, I did need to work on that non-meta character. Yeah.
Yep. And it just gives you a little kick in the pants. And it's not like a panic farm because the rewards ain't that great. You know, if you don't get it, cool. But it does make you think, all right, so a 5th character at this level would be useful.
I have a question. Do you think that it would be beneficial for them to offer shard shop currency flat, not shards to convert, just shard shop currency as a reward?
That's interesting. Yes and no. The no, so it would work for me is the yes. The no is there's newer players that it just wouldn't, they don't even have access to the shard shop. So that could be
right, but if it's gated to the point where it's only for the higher level stuff.
Sure.
But I guess then functionally, what's the difference between giving a character you already have at 7 stars? And giving this, I don't know. It's something that we've never gotten as a straight reward, even though it's the obvious intention behind like 5 Royal Guard shards,
right.
you know?
Yeah. You know, and I got to say, the character shards on this, it's grief 3 times. That's awesome.
They're just trying to give you grief.
Exactly. Whereas last time around, the only one that I don't remember all of the rewards, but the only one that I got that was even mildly interesting was one set of Sith Trooper.
You don't have him at 7 stars?
No, I don't. So, like, you know, a relatively new character in the scope of the game. That's useful. Grief, three times you get him. I don't know what it is, like 15, 12, something like that. It adds up to. That's great. If you're going to be throwing out shards for difficult content, like what you're requiring out of these, I think that's a much better reward than last time. Now, granted, that is for the reward where you have to have them at a certain gear level, and kind of, you know, if you have a Relic 5 bounty hunter team, you might already have grief, you know.
Yeah.
But
so I think the problem with the rewards in general, and I agree they're not good overall. Mm-hmm. The point of this mode, it's kind of at war with itself a little bit, right? This is hey, you're done with everything else. Here's some fun stuff to do to try this out. It's a challenge, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be mainline content. Because it used to be, you like they originally had it, you know, where you couldn't even do it until you're done with your daily stuff.
Sure.
They changed that, obviously. So it comes to the point where it's not supposed to be for the rewards, right? Like a lot of stuff, like you fight through it to get to the reward. Mm-hmm. That's the point of the mode. Where this seems to be that the point of it is different gameplay, different mechanics to play around with, you know? And if you turn it into just another piece of content to push through to get to the reward, then there comes a point of, well, we can't make it so silly with some of the modifiers to make it that difficult, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that seems to be where the idea of changing it up so much and making it fun and different, where it's not as simple or straightforward to beat as some of the other pieces of content. Is that the point, or is the reward the point?
The reward's always the point.
And that is, in fact, my point.
Yeah.
Where it's a little bit at odds with every other mode in the game.
Mm-hmm. Which, they've kind of acknowledged to a degree this week also, as they kind of acknowledge that they've gotten feedback, and that, yeah, we know the rewards, we didn't hit a home run on that, which is not to say that, they've kind of talked about rewards in the past in a sense that people complain about rewards all the time, but they look at the data and they say, okay, well, people do actually need this piece. You're a really good player, so you have 1,000 of them, but like other people need it. I've heard that argument before. I'm not saying that that's 100% true, but okay, so maybe. But some of this stuff is like real bad. Real bad.
And I said the same thing too. Like, it's exhibition. So we'll see if they update it. But,
yeah. Yep.
And, I don't know. It's a weird place where the event is at, frankly. Because most other PvE content in the game is just strictly, here's a challenge to get this reward.
Sure.
As opposed to, I don't know, it seems like the point of it isn't necessarily supposed to be that. But maybe I'm just thinking too hard about it.
But, that never goes over well when it's just bad rewards,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what if they had no rewards? Would you still play it?
Then it would be just like a weird sandbox.
Right, but if they had it just for like cosmetic stuff, portraits and titles and
I see. Yeah. I don't care about those anywhere near as much, but unless they're something like Princess, in which case I've been rocking the Princess title since that came out.
Who doesn't want to be a princess? I think I've been like a officer for a long time because I wanted to make sure I kept my Imperial Trooper portrait.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. It's we'll see where it goes. I don't even know if I would call myself cautiously optimistic. I'm curious. Like, I don't need this content to be good. I'm very curious how it ends up, though.
Right. Yeah. I kind of feel the same. Like, I'm having fun with it, but it is. I mean, the other big thing they acknowledged, this is our 2 complaints from last week, and everyone's instant 2 complaints were the rewards and then also the duration, that this is a week-long thing.
Yeah.
When it pops up and I see that it's there, this has been the case for 2 weeks now, I enjoy it the day it launches. And, it's just over, like, it doesn't take that long to get done what you can get done. It's, sure. It's not the kind of thing like especially those gear feats. It's not the kind of thing that you're like, well, I finished tier 5 over the course of this week. I plan to relic up, no, either you got it or you don't.
But that might get the point with how the rewards work out, if that's how I want to go with it.
Sure.
You're going to, like you relicked up your Palpatine.
Yeah. But I think the big thing to keep in mind with all of this is, like you said, this is an exhibition. This is them testing it. This is the whole game's a beta, really. But this is a beta.
It's a live production environment. That's how all these things are,
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of judgment going around about it, and I've been playing the game long enough and am I guess old enough and patient enough that this kind of stuff comes out and I play it for a little bit and all right. I'm not banging my head against the wall trying to beat it, which is my least favorite content. And that's, like light side territory battle. The rewards are much better for that for a week, but
it's a week of punishment.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't mind this. Low engagement overall. Like, it doesn't require that you... When you think about the level of participation in a light side territory battle, Geonosis, it's it's one of two things. It's either deploy and you're done, or actually go in, spend some time on those combat missions. And that takes a lot of time. It's multiple waves of things that have to be hit 428 times before they die.
Well, let me give you my pro tip on that. Have a very bad light side roster.
Sure. No, I did really well this time around.
Oh, yeah.
I beat every fleet mission I tried, which is all the basic ones. I don't do the special ones because I'm like, look, I can get some points. I know I can do this if I just put all my good ships into one. So
that's what people argue for the field goal. You don't put points on the board.
Right. Yeah.
But also field goals get you to lose, so I don't know.
Yeah, and they're not exciting. No, I did great with my fleet. I ran Malevolence with a really bad Hyena, a really bad Vulture, and a really good, well, not really good, but a pretty good Sunfac. And
how'd you do that in a light side territory battle?
Oh, crud. No, I'm thinking of last time around. Jeez, I'm sorry. That's what I used in Grand Arena last time around. I'm sorry, I'm having flashbacks to my glory of my Grand Arena. No, light side territory battle. I've been using Negotiator, Anakin, Fives, and Ahsoka. And
seems good.
It works. And the secret sauce to the whole thing is your first reinforcement is not Plo Koon. It's not Clone Sergeant. It's Jedi Consular. Because
what even is his reinforcement ability?
I don't know, but he has a move. Honestly, I don't. He has a move where as soon as he comes out, he has a special that calls an assist. So it's an automatic second shot from Anakin.
Sure. Yeah, no, I do that with my first order fleet to get an extra silencer shot.
And how good he is as a pilot, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's gear 9 for me. Just garbage. But it works. And then I bring out Plo usually after that and heal up, give a little turn meter to everybody. It's solid. It's solid. Just beat the snot out of the ugliest thing on the other side with Anakin as hard as you can for a couple rounds, and you'll usually take it. I mean, I wish this didn't require, but it probably does, something like my Relic 7 Anakin, Relic 7 General Kenobi. I mean, I've invested in that fleet, but you know, it's delivering. That, and then I did well with Rey. Did pretty well with Jedi Knight Revan as well. Just had some good runs. So feels good. And then I sent in CLS with typically you're going to use Han and Chewie with CLS. So I used, Raid Han and Veteran Smuggler Chewie because they're both Relic 3. Oops.
It works.
That was pretty rough. And my Padme squad did a 4-for-4 as well. So, yeah, this is definitely my strongest showing in the light side territory battle. And let me tell you, still wasn't fun. It was bad. But the reason I talked about that so much is it takes, either you deploy and walk away or you spend all that time doing all that. And so Galactic Challenge, I want it to be quick and easy.
Sure.
Like I don't want it to be something I got to play like a legendary every day, That's a lot. So anyways, the feedback, they said, yes, 7 days, too long. Yeah, the rewards, we know. This is a conservative reward.
I mean, what they say, 2-3 days is like they're thinking about landing for the duration.
Which I totally agree.
Yeah, I like it.
when it first came out, I thought I could do this every day, but I think 2 days for me would be my vote.
Sure.
Give me 2 days with it.
Well, like I don't know if these are going to be repeatable. Is the thing, right? Because there's so many variables. I don't know if it's going to show up in the exact same form again. Or at least not often.
Yeah. Hopefully,
that's why
it
3 days.
won't, honestly.
Right. That's what I mean. So 3 days might be like just to make sure you have a chance.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, next time we have a Death Star thing, it may be clones or something.
Even if it's bounty hunters again,
different.
it could be different, entirely different modifiers, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yep. So, with that said, I want to talk for a minute about something that's very near and dear to your heart. And it's our old buddy, Gar Saxon.
Yes. I'm sure, I know, I've made the case to a degree that Gar Saxon should be a Imperial trooper.
Totally makes sense. He and Super Commando should both be troopers.
Yeah, when I make this case, it is always including his, faceless lackey.
Mm-hmm.
My argument sums up in this way, though, as I've looked through all the rosters of the Imperial troopers. Bringing these two into the faction would make it 10. So there's 2 full teams.
Okay.
Including some very bad characters.
Now, have you done the math on what the 2 teams optimally would be?
I have done the math, as it were, on what I would split the 2 teams up as.
Okay.
But on a macro level, it gives you a little more life into a not very good faction.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make them a good faction.
Sure.
It makes them better, but not good. It gives them a second leader option. So now that you have enough characters to run 2 teams, you actually have a leader for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
And they would run pretty differently in how they
There
work.
is only one leader in Troopers, right?
Yeah, it's just Veers.
Yeah.
Stark doesn't have a leader.
Yeah.
It would not make them super powerful. There's no game-breaking, synergy in any of them. But I think it would make the troopers more fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when, unfortunately, as part of this, as I looked into it, I don't know when you would use them, though.
But so all the more reason you might as well just see if something pops up.
There's really no downside to doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Gar Saxon and Imperial Super Commando look like Imperial troopers. In the lore, they are Imperial troopers.
Mm-hmm.
There's no rebalancing that needs to be done. You slap a tag on them, and it's fun.
Slap a tag on them, see what happens. Yeah.
Nothing. Literally nothing will happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it would make me happy, and it would make the faction slightly more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as I said, when I did break down who I would put on what team. So to start with, I would, of course, have Gar Saxon and his buddy together, right?
Sure.
And I would put Range Trooper with them.
Okay.
And Magma Trooper.
I always forget about Magma. Yeah.
Not because he's good, but because I don't want to pull one of the really good ones from the other team.
So let me guess. Is Stormtrooper number 5?
He is. And
Yeah.
that is the most regrettable part, is that Stormtrooper, ironically, is far and away the worst Imperial Trooper.
Yeah.
Like, ideally, if I was making one, like, the best squad.
Yeah. It's those other 5.
No, not necessarily.
No.
It would probably, like, if I was going through the 10, it'd probably be, I'd probably stick with a Veers lead, maybe Gar Saxon. I'd have to really dig into that. It'd be Veers, Gar, Stark, Range, and probably Shore.
I was going to say, you got to have a Shore to...
It depends what you're doing. Like, when I'm playing,
he's a great plan
sisters,
B. Like, someone rips you up in the first couple of rounds, you have Shore throw up a taunt and heal everyone, you're good. You're set now.
I mean, as far as it goes, when you're playing with troopers, you don't. The problem is you don't have time to breathe against anybody with troopers, right? You're not tough enough to stand up against a real barrage. You don't deal enough damage to really mess them up. But the point is, Gar Saxon gives people counter chance, and he gives troopers counter chance,
which could be good.
Good. And range trooper, whenever he gives everybody the chance to assist each other when they attack or do anything. Gar Saxon attacks when anybody makes an attack out of turn. So it's just going to be a bunch of bad attacks, but it'll be really fun.
Yeah.
And Magma Trooper hits 2 targets when he shoots, which, again, it's just wacky. Now, the Veer, Stark, Shore, Snow, Death, that's still a good team. I would ideally be able to pull Range Trooper back on there, and if I only ran 1, that's where it would go. Because Range Trooper, I think, is really the X factor in any trooper team.
Yeah. You use him instead of Death? Or
yeah, probably. Yeah. Most of the time, I would do my team now, like my best trooper team, is Veers, Stark, Shore, Range Trooper, and then either Death or Snow. Depending if I'm going up against a bunch of mobs or if I want to try and make sure I can death march somebody, that kind of thing.
See, yeah, exactly. I personally, almost the only time I use that trooper team is to take out some kind of vulnerable Night Sisters. Someone places some like Gear 12 Night Sisters somewhere, something like that. I'll use them. And one thing I love about them is Death Trooper being able to just, what is it, incinerate or whatever.
What the actual name of his ability is?
Yeah,
Terminate.
Terminate, yeah. His being able to just terminate Daka so she can't revive at all.
Yeah.
Huge. I love it.
Yeah, he's an interesting character. There's not a single trooper who's remotely overpowered in any way, shape, or form. Even together, they're not.
And he's got that Dispel Grenade, too.
He's got a Dispel Grenade.
That's
he
good.
dazes on basic. I mean, it's a fun kit. Yeah. But yeah, so I think that there's no downside to making Gar Saxon and Imperial Super Commando troopers. There's only upside, and it would make me extremely happy.
So what's the call to action here? Are we writing our Congress people?
I mean, I was just going to try and bug Top Hat and see if anything came out of it.
All right, you do that.
Yeah, I bugged crazy excuses. And I was like, hey, who do I have to bug to make this happen? And she said, not me.
Well, that's one down.
Got to run it up the flagpole. I mean, I know a solid 5 people who work there, so we'll see.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll keep bugging you until I find someone.
Just keep pinging the same one because, they pass the laptop around. I'm sure someone will see it that can do it.
Yeah. Those are going to be flashing on the taskbar. Now, something that did happen, I know that you're still working on your ultimate for Rey.
Yeah.
Just Rey.
8 out of 10 now.
You're getting there. I did manage to finish and get my 10 out of 10 a couple days ago.
God, how does that feel?
It feels amazing, but I also feel a little lost at sea.
Huh.
I mean, I think I mentioned this last week. I finished my troopers. I finished my scoundrels.
Yeah.
Now I'm done with the ultimate. So, I mean, we'll get to what I'm doing with it shortly, but I'm a little bit adrift at sea. However, it is pretty amazing. I can beat most Rey teams now. The only one that gives me a little bit of trouble is if there's a Jedi Luke hanging out in there. Probably because I don't know his kit well enough yet, or at all. So I don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah, come to think of it, I remember reading it on the podcast.
Oh yeah,
but I couldn't tell you what he does yet.
And that's the problem with just reading something instead of really learning it, Sean.
Yeah, I agree.
And I can beat most other Kylos in a mirror match. But the problem is that I still have the problem where most other Kylos can beat me in a mirror match.
Yeah.
So I don't get the hold rank. But, you know, I mean, I broke the top 10 the other day.
Nice.
I didn't stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I'm never good at sitting on there and poaching, waiting for the right moment before my payout. But yeah, no, it was fun climbing up there. The other thing I started doing on my arena team, and I might relic him up more, is I started running the First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot in the 5th spot. There's two reasons around him. One is he has an AoE, which I found useful before my ultimate to pick off people when stupid Kenobi is sitting there with taunt and damage immunity.
Yeah.
And you're just mad at the world. There's somebody back there with a sliver of health and he's got an AoE, which is nice. But more importantly, though, he has a targeted assist. So I can just pull, Supreme Leader Kylo for a straight up assist.
Yeah.
And it's not a bonus turn meter, so he doesn't lose any health or protection. So I can run, Supreme Leader, Crew, Hux, First Order Officer, and
Special
Forces.
Forces. Yeah.
Or I can put in the Stormtrooper instead of Officer. The idea being just to feed Supreme Leader as much as possible, right? Because his ultimate charge builds when he deals damage. So if I give him if I call him for an assist, he deals damage. I get there faster than the opposing Kylo.
Sure.
Which is very key. So yeah, I've had good success with it, and I didn't think he was going to be like a real integral part of making it work. But he's at Relic 3 now. I might throw some more Relic levels at him. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it is extremely satisfying to just start blanking characters when you get your ultimate charge out.
Now you said that before you got this, you were just kind of stalled in Arena. Like
for the most part, yeah.
Didn't really move. Yeah.
20s
Which is
and 30s.
where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, like I might win one match, but then by the time I got back in to do it, I had already moved back to where I was.
I'm right there with Squad Arena and Fleet Arena, and it's just a weird place. Like, I don't stress about Arena, because if I don't get to it until 11 o'clock at night, cool. Who cares? Like,
because you haven't moved.
Yeah, no one moves.
Yeah.
And when I do my match, I don't know what a mirror match with Kylo looks like exactly, but a Rey on Rey mirror match, at the end of 5 minutes, there are still 10 people on the battlefield with full health and protection.
Oh yeah, no, the Kylo ones they're short. It is actually very similar to Jedi and Darth Revan mirror matches. Where it's a Darth Revan versus Darth Revan. It's about 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And somebody has won.
Whereas
Jedi Revan is
Jedi Revan, nothing ever dies.
Yeah. I mean, with the ultimate, it's interesting because it's a little bit of a game of chess as to who gets the ultimate when, and whether you're being able to do it just to prevent damage from their ultimate.
Sure.
I imagine it's actually very similar to Rey, though, in that respect, because she gives everybody damage immunity when she's charging up her thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'll do it with him because you can Kylo's you can activate at different levels of charge, and it just makes it last longer or shorter. And there are times where I'll pop it just for one turn, just to get damage immunity for that one turn from their ultimate that I know they're about to use.
Yeah.
So it definitely actually makes the exact same team much more interesting to play with, which I enjoy.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I'll be there soon. Hopefully next week I'll have the ultimate done. I want that to be.
But then you're all aboard the Jedi Luke train, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Which actually leads me right into just take this platform here to talk about who I'm grinding.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So my two kind of goals as of late have been General Skywalker and Jedi Luke. And my Jedi Luke prep, all I have left is my Lando needs 3 pieces of gear.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, Relic, but that's nothing. Getting to Relic 3, that's easy enough for me.
Yeah, 3 is nothing.
So that's it. And from everything I've read and everyone I've talked to, if you just get the requirements, you'll be fine. It's not like General Skywalker where you got to go a little higher than the requirements if you want to,
sure,
really do the thing. So that leads me to my General Skywalker prep, which I've had the requirements met for a while, but I hope to be able to stock up on a little bit of extra signal data just in case if I need to do another relic here or there.
That
Most likely, what's been on my mind is B1, and if I had the material and whatnot, I probably would relic him past 3, but he sits at 3, and I'll just, when it comes around, I'll see if I can do it. If I can't, I'll try moving mods first, and if I still can't, drop some signal data on B1 probably. So that's my 2 big goals. Everything else has really, I've been limiting. I was working on Cara Dune. I cut her out of the equation recently because I just don't have the resources right now. When I get these done, I'll put her right back in there, and that's something I look forward to. But
and that's something I've found. It's helped me with the focus in this game, which I'm still shocked that I have. But when you're working on 5 characters and you're grinding them all, don't throw 5 attempts at each one a day.
Sure.
You pick one, you finish it, and you move on to the next.
Yeah.
Because then at least you feel like you're getting somewhere,
Yeah. And that was just a thing that, there's this sense that Jedi Luke is coming soonish. Want to be ready for that. I don't, at this point, I only need 3 pieces of gear, so I'm very confident I'll be there. And one of those is, honestly, I think there's 1 piece of salvage I need for it. So very confident there, but I want to get that done. And then also I've been working on my Y-Wing, which is at 82 out of 85 now. So
nice.
That is not too terribly far from being done.
Start toasting that bread. That BLT is almost ready.
Yeah, that's the focus, is to get that taken care of, get the gear on Lando, and then it opens up, or they'll drop something new that I need. But once it opens up, then Cara Dune gets slotted back in. I start working on others. Like I mentioned, Django he's in my favorites right now, because if I can get this other stuff done, I'll probably at least just take him up to 12. It's not a huge commitment, and it'll pay off. He's worth it. Other things I have done. Oh, for shards, I am still working on Mandalorian, because I don't need that much out of fleet currents or fleet nodes. So, doing just 5 attempts a day, and it usually results in 1 shard. So I'm creeping along. I've got 30 out of 65 on him. Up to 66 Zeta Mats now. I'll need 80 for General Skywalker and 40 for Jedi Luke. So I'm a little behind on that.
There you are.
And then my ultimate mats, I'm at 8 out of 10, and probably have about halfway to my 9th. So that's what's going on in my favorites list. But what are you grinding?
Not Cara Dune anymore.
Yeah,
because I finished her.
Dang, you really.
I was at 39 out of 100. Moving along regularly, and then I don't know, Saturday, Sunday last week, or this past week, I don't know how to explain it. Google rewards, they ask you surveys, and you get a couple of 10 to 80 cents based on what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Usually like 10 to 20 cents. And for some reason, over the last couple months, I've been getting more, and I've been getting ones that pay out a little more. So I had I don't know, $13 sitting around in just Google Cash. So when I saw a 16 shard, purchasing the shipments for Cara Dune, I said, yeah, why not? So I dropped a little bit of my Google Cash on it and bought some. And then I had a bunch of crystals from something else, and I bought another 8. And then my regular grinding, and, I finished her up yesterday. Yeah. Just cruised along at my regular pace, and I basically paid to skip a week with my Google monies.
Yeah.
I got here at Gear 12, working on getting here up to 13. And we'll see. The only other favorites I have right now are Gar Saxon and Imperial Super Commando, because I'm a dum-dum, and I kind of want to bring them to 13.
And then they'll be troopers.
Why? Yeah, that's magically. They'll gain the tag after I do that. An alarm will go off at CG and be like, wait, no one's done that. Although I'm sure people have. I've decided I'll finish my gas. I'll at least get into 7 stars.
Yeah.
So even after Clone Parade, I didn't have enough for the 15 shard bucket. I've got like 5,500. So I still got to wait a little bit or a better drop in the store before I buy any more. I'm at like 40 of 100. So I'm not far off. I got to buckle down to it and not buy gear for my bad characters that I'm gearing, which is always the temptation. If I was gearing good characters, I wouldn't feel bad about it at least.
Yeah.
But when Cara Dune is the best of the characters you're gearing,
you're not working on any emergencies right now. Yeah.
Although, as I've been looking at who to grind shard-wise, I guess if I'm going to do Cara Dune, I already have her for my scoundrels, right, at that point. Mm-hmm. Now that she's at 7 stars, I have nowhere to test her at the moment, so we'll see if this plan works. But she's also a rebel fighter.
There we are.
Which brings me to the question. Should I grind the rebel fighters?
I absolutely think you should.
You want me to put a Zeta on POW.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You want me to wake up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror, a man who Zeta'd Gar Saxon, and say, I also put a Zeta on POW.
Yeah. Yeah, I want that.
At what point is it a bridge too far? At what point do I lose what small shred of self-respect I have left, Sean?
You would lose the self-respect if you don't Zeta POW.
That doesn't sound right.
That's how they get you. You're going to stick it to them by saying, you know what? I'm going to spend this Zeta on POW.
I've got so many Zeta mats, Sean.
Yeah.
I've got like 540 Omega mats. It's just sitting there waiting to be done.
I don't even know how many I don't think I have that many Omegas right now.
Well, there's one thing I have in this game, Sean. It's Omega mats.
It's the Omegas. Let's see. What am I sitting on? 64. Yeah. I'll need more of those, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will. So, I don't know. I'm grappling with this reality of maybe grinding rebel fighters, but I got a long way to go with because with the exception of Cara Dune, mine are all extremely bad. Like, not even finished grinding shards. Bad. All these old characters. I know.
Oof.
So I don't know.
So what would it be then for you? You'd have Mon Mothma, Cara Dune, POW,
Wedge.
And
who's the last one?
Scout?
Yeah. I kind of want to go with the idea of the Rogue One angle on it and do like Jyn and Cassian. I don't have a Taunter at that point, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd have to look at it. I'm grappling with it on a philosophical level, not at like a tactical level.
Yeah.
Do I really want to go down this route? But like I said earlier, now I'm done with my ultimate. I'm done with all this other stuff. I mean, unless I'm going to go for like Jedi Luke, which no, I got nowhere to put him. Yeah. Right? It'd be him and
because you don't have a Jedi squad for him to just step in and lead.
I mean, I have a passable Anakin, Ahsoka, and Kenobi, but that's about it. So yeah, I'm a little bit adrift at the moment. Because my favorites list did indicate that.
Yeah.
So maybe I should just bite the bullet and do the Rebel Fighters. It seems like a fun team.
Yeah, it does.
Better than the Imperial Troopers, at least.
I just realized I mentioned that when I get these two projects done, I'll have something freed up, but I won't. I'll have to work on all my clones for Anakin. Because my 501st needs some serious help.
Don't you need that for the event?
No. Nope.
God, it's been a while now.
Yeah. So I've got a Relic 7.5s and then a bunch of goofuses. So
I've been kicking around bringing my ARC Trooper up to 7 or up to Gear 13. Mine's 12 point something.
Yeah.
Just because that yellow border irritates me when I look at it on my squad list.
Sure. I know exactly what you mean. My R2, I want a Relic for that exact same reason. He just sticks out like a sore thumb. Just that one little yellow.
I remember when that yellow border meant so much.
It did. And R2 was one of my first Gear 12s, I think.
You never forget your first.
You know? Well, that is all we got for you. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend Gar as is. Galactic War Report is brought to you by Radio Free Tatooine and by our Patreon supporters. Learn how to become one and get access to our Discord server at patreon.com/Radio Free Tatooine. As always, big thanks go to our Sandcrawler level supporters, CT1980, Devin Doctorman, John T. Kusinek Jr., and swgoh.gg. Don't forget, if you like what you hear, please consider showing your support with a rating and or review through your podcast medium of choice. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG do it.